Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Susie from Susie's Room for Crochet and I'm here with a tutorial for you on how to make this lovely little Lovey bunny. So I think it's the perfect time of year for making bunnies for babies as Easter is approaching. So I'm going to be making these to sell in my Etsy shop, but I'm going to do a tutorial on here for you if you would like to make one. You don't just have to make them for Easter, you can gift them to babies at any time, and they're a lovely little toy. This I've made like in a star shape, and these floppy ears you can bend or have them straight, it's up to you. So if you'd like to crochet this with me, what you will need is some yarn in two colours. I'm going to do a blue one with you. And you will also need two crochet hooks. I'm using DK weight yarn, so the majority is done in a 4mm size crochet hook, but the ears will be done in a 3.5mm crochet hook. You will also need a pair of scissors, a darning needle, a stitch marker and a pair of safety eyes. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start off, if you want to grab your white yarn, and we're going to start off with a magic ring. So place the yarn over your two fingers and make a cross on the back of your fingers and hold that down. Take your 4mm crochet hook and insert it under the first yarn strand and grab the second one. Turn your hook and then grab the yarn behind and just slip stitch through that little loop, and that is your magic ring. And to start off, we're going to start off with a chain 3, which doesn't count as a double crochet, and then we're going to put 20 double crochets into the magic ring. So to do a double crochet, and I'm talking in US terms, in the UK this will be classed as a treble crochet. So we're going to double crochet 20 times into the circle. So yarn over, insert your hook into the circle, grab the yarn and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's your first one. Go ahead again, yarn over, insert your hook into the circle, grab the yarn and pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So carry on making your double crochets and I'll meet you back when I've got my 20. Okay, I've got my 20 double crochets and now I'm just going to pull on this tail to close the ring. You don't have to close it in too much because we are going to sew through that to attach the head. And now you're going to slip stitch to the top of your first double crochet, not the chain 3, the first double crochet. So insert your hook, grab the yarn and pull through both those loops, and that closes your magic ring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and into that very first stitch there we're going to place a single crochet. So don't yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch, grab the yarn and pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's a single crochet, and in the UK that will be a double crochet. We're now going to skip a stitch and we're going to do 3 double crochets into this next stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure we've skipped the right stitch. Just 1 second, I'm just going to go back and make sure I've gone into the right one because these stitches are very close together. So that's the skip stitch and this was the right one. Just put those double crochets back in. 3 double crochets into 1 stitch. Then we're going to chain 3 and place another 3 double crochets back into that same stitch. So that makes like the first corner, and we'll have 5 corners altogether to make our star shape. Okay, we're now going to skip a stitch and single crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to skip a stitch again and place 3 double crochets into this stitch, just like we did before. 1, 2, 3, chain 3, and place another 3 double crochets into the same stitch. It's 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, I forgot to flip this onto round 2. We're on round 2. So sorry about that. Okay, we're skipping a stitch again and placing a single crochet into the next stitch. Then we're skipping another stitch again and doing what we did, making another corner. And this is how you're going to work your way around. Just skipping a stitch, placing a single crochet in, and then doing a corner like this, 3 double crochets, a chain 3, and 3 double crochets. And then you'll skip a stitch and single crochet, skip a stitch and do another corner. Then skip a stitch, single crochet, skip a stitch and do your final corner. So work your way around, and I will meet you back here when I'm almost to the end of my round 2. Okay, I've worked my final corner, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we did. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch 2 stitches along into the next 2 stitches, place 2 slip stitches, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. That counts as a double crochet stitch, and into this final stitch here place a double crochet. So you've got 2 double crochets here. Now you're into the corner space. You're going to place 3 double crochets into that corner space. 1, 2, 3. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and place another 3 double crochets into that corner space. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to place a double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So make sure you find that first stitch, because it can be a little bit hidden by your corner stitches. So there is the first double crochet stitch. So we're placing 1 double crochet into that stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Then we're going to skip that stitch there, the single crochet, the chain stitch in the middle and that stitch there, and we're going to double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, then we're back at our corner space, so it's 3 double crochets, a chain 3, and 3 double crochets. And this is how we're going to work our way around. So our 3 double crochets. So we'll notice that around each corner you have 2 stitches. We're not going into the middle here, what's called the valley. We're going to skip along. So now we're back, we've done our corner. We need to put 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches. Make sure you find the right stitch because it's a bit hidden. 2 double crochets. We're missing that double crochet there, the chain 1 there, and the next double crochet, and we're going to double crochet into these 2 stitches next to our next corner space, and then 3 double crochets into that space. 1, 2, 3. Chain 3 and another 3 double crochets. If I'm going a little bit fast, you can pause the video and rewind. It's just that I try not to make my videos too long. Okay, so we're back to the next side now. So we're going to double crochet into the first and second stitch. We're skipping the next one, the chain one in the middle, and the next stitch, and we're double crocheting into the next two. So the two that we're crocheting into are like nearest the corner space. So now you're back at a corner, you'll do your 3 double crochets, chain 3 and 3 double crochets, and then you will crochet into the next 2 double crochets and work your way around just as we've been doing around here, and I will meet you back when I get to the almost end of this round. Okay, I've almost completed round 3. I've done my 2 double crochets and we'll be skipping this double crochet, the single crochet and this double crochet, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of the first chain 3 that we did. So insert your hook into the top of that chain 3, grab the yarn and slip stitch, and that brings us to the end of round 3. So for row 4 and for every row now you will follow this pattern. So whenever you end, you're going to just slip stitch along one stitch, because we can't, these 2 stitches are called the valley and we can't ever crochet into those. So now you will get extra stitches as you go along as well. For each round that you complete, you will gain 2 extra stitches either side the corner space. And I think I did, let's have a look. 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I did 8 rows in total, but you can make yours as long or as short as you want to be. You just keep repeating this row, what I'm going to show you now. So we've slip stitched into the first stitch and we're in the next stitch, and we're going to chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet, double crochet into the next stitch, double crochet into the next stitch and into the next stitch. So you've got 4 stitches, like on the previous row you had 2 before you came to the corner. Now you've got 4. So now we'll work our corner, which is 3 double crochets, a chain 3 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 3 and 1, 2 and 3. And then we need to crochet into the next 4 stitches like we did on that side. So find that stitch that's hiding. That's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we will skip these 2 stitches here and skip those 2 stitches and then double crochet into the next 4 stitches here. 4, and then we repeat what we did our corner, which will always be 3 double crochets, a chain 3 and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 3 and 3 double crochets. And then we'll double crochet into the next 4 stitches, skip these 2 in the middle, the valley, and do our 4 double crochets until we come to our next corner. So follow this pattern all the way around, and I'll meet you back just before we get to the end to show you how we're going to finish this round. Okay, I've done my final 4 double crochets after my corner, and as we skip these 2 stitches here, we'll insert our hook into the top of the chain 3, the first chain 3 that we did, and slip stitch to complete this round. And you can see that it's already like in a nice little square shape. And remember, we always slip stitch into the next stitch to begin our next row, and this will be the beginning of round 5. And every every round now is the same, except you'll get more stitches. So chain 3, that's our first double crochet, and double crochet into the remaining stitches along here, and I think you will have 6 stitches now because you're gaining 2 stitches per round. So that's our 6 double crochets, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then we're at the corner space, so 3 double crochets, chain 3 and 3 double crochets, and then we're going to crochet into the next 6 stitches. So that's 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, and then we skip the next 2 double crochets and crochet into the next stitch, 6 stitches till we get to the corner, and just work your way around, doing as many rounds as you want for the size of your little blanket bit. And I will meet you back here when I've got my 7 rows. I think I did 7 altogether, so I'll meet you back here soon. Okay, I'm back. I did 8 rounds in total, and let's get rid of that. I did 8 rounds in total, and I'm going to slip stitch now to the top of my first chain 3 that I did with a slip stitch, and then just do a chain 1 and draw my yarn up and snip that, because now I'm going to change colour. So just leave that as it is. I also did 8 rows in white on the pink bunny, so I'm going to do the same in blue. So if you want to grab your contrasting yarn, or you can just leave it in white if you don't want to make it in any colour. And we're going to put a slip knot on our hook, and then just insert your hook into any corner space, it doesn't matter which one, and just pull that yarn through and do a single crochet, and then chain 2, and that will count as your first double crochet in this corner. We're going to put another 2 in for a total of 3, and then to get this little kind of like bobble at the corner of each peak, I'm just going to show you how to do that. So we've got our 3 double crochets in here. You're going to now yarn over and go through that double crochet, grab the yarn and pull up a loop. That's once. Yarn over, go through that double crochet again. That's twice. 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you go through it 6 times and make sure you pull, otherwise your stitches will be too tight. You're then going to yarn over and go through all of those loops, yarn over and put 2 double crochets back into that corner space. So we're going to have 2 double crochets plus the little bauble in the middle, and then you just have to push that through and you've got your little bubble. And then what you'll do is you'll continue, I'm going to carry this tail with me so I don't have to weave it in, but you'll continue double crocheting in every stitch until you get to the valley. So that's 1, 2. If you did 8 rounds like me, you should have 14 double crochets to go into along here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, so I didn't finish that 11 stitch, 11, 12, 13 and 14. And these 2 stitches here, these 2 double crochets we won't go into, we'll just carry on across them doing our 14 double crochets till we get to the next corner. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you did less rows, you'll have less stitches, or if you did more rows to make yours bigger, you'll have more stitches. But for my 8 rounds that I did in white, I've got 14 stitches. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. And I'm back at the corner space again, so I'll show you one more time, and then you can work your way around doing your double crochets and your corners, how I'm going to show you. So 2 double crochets into the corner space, 1, 2, and then we do our 1 that we're going to work around, so that's a total of 3. Then just yarn over, insert your hook in between those 2 double crochets, yarn over and pull up a loop once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times and 6 times. Then yarn over and pull your yarn through all of those loops, yarn over and 2 double crochets back into that corner space. You can just pop your little bauble out and continue doing your double crochets, remembering to leave out the 2, the last and the first of these 2 excuse me, rows until you get to your next corner. So work your way around and I'll meet you back to show you how we're going to finish. Okay, I'm almost done. I've just 2 more stitches to do here, and now I've reached where I began. I'm going to find the top of that first chain 3 that we did and slip stitch to that chain and draw my yarn up and snip, and then what we have to do is hide this tail. So just flip your work over and sew this in. Just yarn your needle, and all you have to do is just go down and through these stitches here. Just go back and forth a few times, going back this way, the opposite way. And back here again. Make sure you sew this in really well, as it's a baby's toy. It's going to be washed a lot, so you don't want your ends coming out. That should be okay. Give it a good tug and snip that. And you'll also have to sew that in. Don't worry about sewing this one in, but you'll have to sew in any other ends. And that is what our star part looks like. And next what we're going to do is make the head. So if you want to grab your white yarn, and we will make a start on the head. Okay, so I'm back. We're now going to be working on the head part of our bunny, and I want you to grab your 4mm size crochet hook and your white yarn, and we're going to start off by making a magic ring. So to make a magic ring, place the yarn over your 2 fingers, wrap the yarn around the back making a cross, and just put the yarn over so you've got 2 strands. Insert your hook under the first strand and grab the second strand, pull that through and turn your hook, then grab the strand of yarn behind the first and pull through that loop, and that's your magic ring. We're now going to do 10 single crochets into the center of our magic ring. So insert your hook into the circle, grab the yarn and pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through. That's 1, 2, 3. Carry on doing your single crochets until you've got 10, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so I've got my 10 single crochets into the circle. We're now going to pull on that tail to close the ring, and then find the very first single crochet that you did, insert your hook into that single crochet, grab the yarn and do a slip stitch. So we now have our 10 single crochets, and what we're going to do is put 2 single crochets into every stitch. So when we finish this round 2, we will have a total of 20 stitches. So to start off, we will chain 1 and place a single crochet into that same stitch. So that's 1 single crochet, and then we'll place another single crochet into that stitch. So that's 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. Then we'll do 2 single crochets into the next stitch, 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And also, sorry, I should have said we need our stitch marker for this. So the first 2 single crochets that we did into the first stitch, you need to place your stitch marker into the very first stitch, not the chain 1 but the very first stitch, and carry on placing your 2 single crochets into each stitch, and I will meet you back here when I get to the end of this circle. Okay, I've placed 2 single crochets into every stitch. I have a total of 20 stitches now. We're now going to take out the stitch marker and place a single crochet into that stitch, and then just place your stitch marker back into that first stitch. So we've put 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and into the next stitch we're going to place 2 single crochets, so we're doing an increase, then 1 single crochet, then an increase, that's 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets. And this is how you're going to work your way around this round, doing 1 single alternating with increases. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets. So work your way around, and I'll meet you back when I get to the end of this round. Okay, I've just done my last 2 single crochets into my last stitch. I now have a total of 30 stitches, and what we're going to do is take the stitch marker out again and place a single crochet into that stitch, and just pop your stitch marker back in to mark the first stitch. And then what we're going to do is put a single crochet in the next stitch, and then in the third stitch we're going to place 2 single crochets, so 1, 2. So this is the pattern for this round. So we're doing a single crochet, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch, so an increase there. So single crochet, and then an increase by placing 2 in the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, then 2 single crochets into the third stitch. So work your way around, and I will meet you back when I got to the end of this round to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, I've placed my last 2 single crochets into my final stitch, and I think this is probably like about the right size for the head, so we're not going to do any more increases. We're going to do 6 rounds of just single crochet. So take your stitch marker out, place a single crochet in that first stitch and just pop your stitch marker back in, and then just work your single crochets around your circle, just 1 single crochet in every stitch for 6 rounds, I'd say. And when I've got my 6 rounds done, I will meet you back here to show you how we're going to carry on. So just keep placing 1 single crochet into every stitch, and at the end of each round you should still have a total of 40 stitches after doing your 6 rounds. So continue going round and I will meet you back here soon. Okay, I've worked my 6 rows of single crochet, and now we're going to do a little decrease row. So take your stitch marker out, place a single crochet into that stitch and pop your stitch marker back in to mark your first stitch, and then we're going to put a single crochet into the next stitch, and then into the next 2 stitches we're going to do a decrease. So to do a decrease, I take just the front loop of the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull it through. You'll have 2 loops on the hook. Do the same to the next stitch, insert your hook through the first front loop of the stitch, grab the yarn and pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3, and that's a decrease stitch. We've turned 2 stitches into 1. We're then going to place a single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then we will do another decrease. I'll show you once more. Insert your hook through the front loop of the stitch, grab the yarn and pull through. You'll have 2 loops on the hook. Go through the next stitch, front loop only, grab the yarn, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. That's another decrease. So we're going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease, 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So work your way around doing your 2 single crochets and a decrease all the way around, and I will meet you back when we get to the end of this round. So I've worked my way around. I've done my last decrease. You will always end with a decrease. And I think before we go any further, just draw your yarn up and just turn your work inside out. And I think we're just going to give a final pull on this tail and sew this in, just to make sure that it doesn't come loose after you finish your project. So just follow your ring round and just insert your darning needle and just go through a few stitches in one direction and in the opposite direction. My stitches are quite tight, so it is a bit fiddly to do, and then I'm just going to do like a knot here just to keep it like secure, and you can leave that tail inside, it's not going to matter. But now what we're going to do before we do any more rows is we're going to put the eyes in. Now I put mine in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just below row 6. So if you count your rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so just below there, I'm going to just grab my first one and pop that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, just below 7. I thought that looked a little bit high. So just under row 7. Don't put the back on yet. Grab your other eye and place that where you want it to be. I think about there might be okay. How many stitches? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stitches. I think I'm just going to go back 1 stitch. There we are. So if you feel happy, once you put the eyes in, if you're happy where they are, you can then put the backs on, which I will do now. push them on really securely. So those are all in place. And now what we will do is move on to the next round. So take your stitch marker out, and in that first stitch place a single crochet. So last time we did 2 single crochets and a decrease. Now we're going to be doing 1 single crochet and a decrease. Just pop your stitch marker back into that first stitch. So we've done 1 single crochet. Now we will do a decrease, then 1 single crochet and a decrease, 1 single crochet and a decrease, to keep going all the way around, and I will meet you back when I get to the end of this round. Okay, so I've done my last decrease of this round. I'm just going to draw my yarn up for a second so my work doesn't come off the hook. And at this stage what we're going to do is put some stuffing in. So if you want to grab some toy stuffing, and we will just stuff the head, not fully stuff it because we still have to crochet around and it makes it difficult with too much stuffing in, but stuff it all like really well so that it fills out the head. I think that might be enough for now, and I'll put a bit more in as we work our way around. So now what we're going to do is, we've done alternate decreases on this row. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work a decrease in every stitch. So take your stitch marker out and work a decrease into the first stitch. So insert your hook into the stitch, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, into the next front loop, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, and just pull through all two, and pop your stitch marker back in. And then that's what you're going to do all the way around in each stitch. It's a little bit fiddly once you get smaller, but try and keep your work neat and tight. And just go round doing your decreases into each stitch, turning every 2 stitches into 1. So work your way around and I will meet you back when I get to the end of this round. Okay, I've made it all the way around, doing decreases into every stitch, turning 2 stitches into 1. And now we're going to just pop a little bit more stuffing in. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just put decreases into every stitch until we have no stitches left. So you can take your stitch marker out now. You won't need to put it back in again. And just finish stuffing your head. That's me done. I think that's enough. Yeah. Okay, so into the next stitch, grabbing the front loop and doing a decrease into the next 2 stitches. And then again into the next 2 stitches. And again into the next 2 stitches. And again into the next 2 stitches. And I think I'm going to stop there. What we're going to do is if you draw your yarn up, leaving quite about 12 inches because we need to sew the head on, and then cut your yarn. And then if you just yarn your needle, and we can close this little circle in together. So just to make it a bit easier, if you just go through the stitches and pull that in, and then again through the next 2 stitches and pull that in, and that closes the head off like really nicely. And then what we've got to do is attach it to our star now. So finding the center of your star, if you just insert your needle through there and pull the head on, and then just turn it upside down so your work is upside down. You can just pull that to close that circle in a bit, and looking around the first, just get that in place, looking around the first row that we did, if you just go under a stitch right through to the head and come back up again, pull, and just go back slightly and in front of the yarn and pull, and this is how we're just going to stitch this head on all the way around. Make sure you go deep enough to get part of the head, not just going through the blanket. Back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, pulling tight, back and forward, back and forward, back and forward, and that looks about okay. So then we can just take our needle out, grab these 2 ends and just tie them really tightly, and double knot it, maybe once more, and then take the shorter yarn, just yarn your needle and poke it up through the head so it comes out somewhere. Excuse me. Cut that and do the same with the other strand. Just poke it through. It comes out the head somewhere. Just give a pull, just pull on it and snip. So that's that part done. Now we need to do the little nose and this part. Now this I did in pink because sorry, I've not even got it in camera view. So this I did in pink to match this, but obviously we don't want our bunny to have a blue nose. So I've got a little bit of natural coloured yarn here, which I'm going to use for the nose part. So just cut like about 18 inches of yarn and yarn your needle, and then decide where it's going to go. So I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 holes here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to come out there. Just leave a tiny little bit because that will go back in. Then go through the same part again. Try not to pull too tight because it will just come out. Go through again. You can pull a bit tighter now. And just keep going through these 2 bits until you feel like that part is thick enough. think that's probably about enough for mine. And then I'm going to go back here and down to there. And then just above the nose here. And back down again to there. And then once more up, and I'm going to take mine out the back of the head. So that's just about does it. It looks all right. So once you've got it out the back of the head here, just go like a few times through different parts of the head, but make sure it doesn't show. So if you come out of a hole, between the stitches, it won't really show. You can always just poke it in if it does. And this is just like to get rid of the yarn and secure it inside. That should be enough. So I'll just pull this really tight and cut. Just need to hide that bit there. That's fine. So now our little bunny has a nose, and all we have to do now is make him some ears. So if you want to grab your white yarn again, and we can get started on the ears. Okay, now our bunny needs to be able to hear, so we have to make him 2 ears. And to start off with the ears, grab your 3.5mm crochet hook, and we're going to start off again with a magic circle. And I did show you how to do this already, but if you can't remember, just rewind back to the beginning and you will see how I do it. And then into this circle we're going to place 5 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And we're going to be working in the rounds again, so you will need your stitch marker as well. And we're just going to close that circle, and into the first stitch we're going to place 2 single crochets. So we're going to be increasing into every stitch. That's 1 and 2. And if you grab your stitch marker and place it into the first stitch, you'll know where the beginning of your round is. So that's 2 stitches in the first stitch. Now we're going to place another 2 stitches in the next stitch. So we're increasing into every stitch in this round, and at the end of this round we will have a total of 10 stitches. So 2 single crochets into each single crochet. And I think that's my 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yes. So take your stitch marker out and place a single crochet in the first stitch, and then just pop your stitch marker back in so you know where the beginning of your round is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do an increase into every other stitch. So we've done 1 single crochet, so in the next stitch we place 2. That's 1 and 2. Then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then an increase in the next, so 2 single crochets into 1 stitch, then 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets into the next stitch, then 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, and into the last stitch 2 single crochets. So we will always end with an increase. So now we've got a total of 15 stitches, and we're going to do 3 rounds of just single crochets. So take your stitch marker out, place a single crochet in the first stitch, stitch marker back in, and then just go around and place 1 single crochet into every stitch. You will have 15 stitches at the end of each round, and after doing your 3 rows of single crochet, 3 rounds of single crochet, you will still have 15 single crochets. So work your way around, placing 1 single crochet into each stitch for 3 rounds. So go around 3 times, and I will meet you back when I've done my 3. Okay, I've done my 3 rounds of single crochet, and this is how you should be looking. Before we go any further, just pop that onto the wrong side, give your tail a pull, and we'll just quickly sew it in to make it secure so that the ear doesn't come undone, because as these bunnies are for children, they're going to be pulled about quite a bit, and we don't want our work coming undone. So just go back and forth a few times through the stitches, and I'm going to do a little knot, and one more time. Okay, so that's nice and secure now. Let's pop that back in, and we will move on to our next round. So on the next round, what we're going to be doing is putting 2 single crochets into each stitch. No, we're not. We're going to be doing 2 single crochets and then an increase. So insert your hook into the first stitch and do a single crochet and a single crochet in the next stitch. Then place your stitch marker into the first stitch that you did. So 2 single crochets and then an increase. So 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. Then again 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and an increase into the next stitch. So 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. When I say an increase, it means that you put 2 stitches into 1 stitch. So now 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches and an increase into the next. And this is the pattern for all the way around. Work your way around doing 2 single crochets and an increase, 2 single crochets and an increase, and I will meet you back here at the beginning to show you how we're going to work the next round. Okay, I've worked my way around, and now what we're going to do is take our stitch marker out, place a single crochet in the first stitch, pop your stitch marker back in to the first stitch, and we're just going to work 2 rows of single crochets into each stitch, and you should have 20 single crochets now. So do 1 single crochet into each stitch for 2 rows, and I will meet you back when I've done my 2 rows to show you how we're going to work the next round. Okay, I've done my 2 rows of single crochets into my 20 stitches, and now we're going to do a decrease round. So take your stitch marker out and place a single crochet in the first stitch, and then pop your stitch marker back in and do a single crochet into the next stitch. And then we're going to do a decrease just like we did on the bunny head. We're going to combine 2 stitches into 1. So grab the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, insert your hook through the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through. Whoops, let's do that again. It's a little bit fiddly with stitch markers and yarn. Okay, grab the first stitch, insert under the front loop of the next stitch, grab the yarn and pull through. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches, then 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches, and then a decrease, so combining 2 stitches together, 2 single crochets and a decrease, 2 single crochets and a decrease, 2 single crochets and a decrease. Whoops. And that brings us to the end of this round. So now what we're going to do is another 2 rounds of just single crochets. So take your stitch marker out, place a single crochet into the next stitch, and then just carry on doing, don't forget to put your stitch marker back in, and just do another 2 rounds of single crochets. Okay, I've done my 2 rounds of single crochet, and at the end of this round I still have 15 stitches. Now we're going to do another decrease round. So take your stitch marker out, place a single crochet in the first stitch, pop your stitch marker back in, and what we're going to do is decrease every other stitch. So we've done a single crochet, now we will decrease, then a single crochet into the next stitch, then a decrease, and a single crochet into the next stitch, then a decrease, and a single crochet into the next stitch and a decrease. Single crochet into the next stitch and our last decrease. It's a little bit fiddly as it gets smaller. So now we have another 3 rows, so we have 10 stitches left after this round, and now we're going to do 3 rows of just single crochets. So pop your stitch marker out, place a single crochet in the first stitch there, stitch marker back in, and do your single crochets for 3 rounds, and I will meet you back here to show you how we're going to finish up and how we're going to sew the ears on. Okay, so I've done my 3 rows of single crochets into my 10 stitches, and now we're just going to insert I've taken my stitch marker out of the first stitch. Now we're just going to insert our hook into the next stitch and do a slip stitch, and then pull your yarn up, leaving about 12 to 14 inches as we need to sew the ear on. So that is what our finished ear looks like. You need to pause the video and go and make a second ear exactly the same, and I'm going to show you how to sew one ear on, and then you can go off and do the other second ear yourself. So just yarn your needle with the piece that we've left, and what we're going to do is just find where you want to place the ear, and I'm just going to go through that bit there because I prefer my yarn to be on this side Right, so I'm going to place my first ear here. So kind of like where the centre is, I just come forward slightly. And what you're going to do is go through the stitch of the back of the ear. So not the front, the back of the ear. Just go through the head and pull that tight. And then you're going to go through the front of the ear and take a piece of the head and pull that tight, then back again through the back of the ear and again through the back of the ear, it's a bit tricky but you will do it, I'm sure. So I'm going to sew the back on first, and then what I'm going to do is take a loop of the front and go through the back of the head, coming out the back there, just so that that pulls it up, then back again through another stitch and get a piece of the head and go through again. And then back again through the next stitch, through the head and to the back again. And through our last stitch here, go through the head, through the back again. And that looks fairly good. Make sure it's really like secure, because like I said, children, babies will be pulling this to bits and you don't want the ears to come off. So I'm just going back and forth through the head a little bit more, pulling it really tight. One more time through the head. Okay. And then what you're going to do to get rid of this yarn, like we did with the nose of our bunny, just go through with your yarn through different places of the head, just to get rid of this. Make sure you come out through a little hole though, so that you don't make it show. That should be enough. Then just give a little pull on that and snip, and that's the ear sewn on. So all you need to do now is pause the video, go and make another ear and sew that one on to the other side, and then our bunny will be finished. I'm going to sew my second ear off camera, and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like when I finished sewing the ear on. So see you all in a bit. Okay, so my Lovey bunny is complete and I'm really pleased with how he's turned out. I'm going to be making more of these because I think they make a lovely little baby gift anyway, but especially with Easter coming, they make a lovely little gift for babies, especially the little ones that can't have chocolate. So now my two ears are on my one and he can hear very well. I'm off to go and make some more. But I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial of how to make this Lovey bunny. And I will see you all again soon in another tutorial. Thank you all for watching. See you all soon. Bye.